How's it going, everyone? Today, we're going to go over my Savvy level model. So this is my A plus entry model. It's very high probability, like an 80% win rate. It's one of my go-to setups. Every time I see it, I take the trade no matter what, and I usually take it with size because it is such a high probability setup. So, I have two main entry models that I trade other than the simple buy and sell setups I have off my levels. I have the Savvy ICT level model, and this is the Savvy level model. So it's basically, our key level and then a little bit of structure added onto that to give us this A plus entry model. So, I won't waste any time. Let's get into the model. So this is it right here. This is basically the blueprint for it right here. And really, it all starts with our key level. So these purple lines are always my key level. So once we have that level identified and we see the structure form, then we can take the trade. What we want to see happen when we have the level identified is, has external range been taken? Are we in a high time frame imbalance? Do we have SMT? And do we have level displacement? So this is basically kind of like a little checklist of what we want to see happen. For example, right here, external range liquidity would be right here. So the buy side or external range liquidity, you want to see from the 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. You want to see some type of ERL or external range liquidity taken. And, I always look for them on the higher time frames. That's what external range liquidity is. So after external range liquidity has been taken, we want to see, are we in a high time frame imbalance? And you can see in this scenario, we have a 1 hour fair value gap. Now the high time frame imbalance has to be, a 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. It just has to be some type of higher time frame fair value gap. Now it doesn't always have to be on NQ. If you're taking this setup on NQ, you could have a high time frame imbalance on ES. And that's the example that I have today when we hop onto the charts, is price traded into a daily fair value gap on ES. So I'm using that as my high time frame imbalance, but looking for the structure on NQ. So just keep that in mind. They're obviously correlating assets. So, if you're trading NQ and you see the structure and we're in a high time frame imbalance on ES, then the trade's still valid. That's our high time frame imbalance that we need. So, after the high time frame imbalance, we then have SMT. Okay, and SMT is a big, huge important part of this. Now here, you can see we have this SMT. So you want to see some type of higher time frame SMT, 15-minute, 4 hour. And then it's always a bonus to have the internal SMT. So one last SMT before the break of the level. Now, a lot of the times you won't get both. You'll either get the higher time frame SMT or you'll get a smaller time frame internal SMT. But as long as you see some type of SMT, now this is perfect when you see a higher time frame SMT and then the internal SMT. That just gives us way more high probability setup, right? So, we want to see that SMT. Now, after the SMT, level displacement. So after the SMT, you want to see basically displacement through the level, and then we can enter the trade. Now, I like to enter on my 2-minute sell setup or buy setup. So for this example, if we displace through the level, we wait for a 2-minute candle close on that displacement candle. And then the next candle, when it opens, when it crosses the body close of that displacement candle, that's where I enter. Now you could also enter on a retracement to a fair value gap and then continue down. But I like to take the 2-minute sell setup. That's just how I trade these levels, because I get a better entry and I don't have to wait for this ICT setup to happen. I have my sell setup after we've already had external range liquidity taken, high time frame imbalance, SMT, level displacement. That's when I enter. So that's basically the model right here, you guys. So you would enter obviously right here, and your target would be the liquidity down here. Now you would be scaling out along the way. Obviously, if we have some sell side liquidity, you always scale profits out, but final target would be down at the lower liquidity. So, this is the blueprint for the entry model. It's A plus. I trade this every time I see it. Now, because it is A plus, we're not going to get it every single day. You might get it 2-3 days in a row, then you might not see it for a week, right? We might get it once a week. So we did have it, I think twice this week we had it. We'll jump down on the charts and I'll show you it with the candles and we'll go over it there. All right, so here's the trade right here. And you can see beautiful displacement after we displace through the level, after we have the SMT. This is a great trade. So notice we came up and did one last little sweep of this liquidity. So sometimes they'll do that to you. They won't make it easy on you. obviously, right? So basically we come down, displace through the level, push up, one last sweep, push down, and then we create the SMT, and that's when price was ready to be delivered efficiently. Okay, then we displace through the level, come up, check out this retest right here, perfect retest right there, and then continuation down for a perfect level to level move. And if you actually look too, we actually took a trade here that morning. I took that live with you guys. So basically look at displacement to our level, consolidation, final SMT, displacement down, retest, continuation for a perfect level to level move. So just take a look at that, you guys. You know, the structure is very, very good, but like literally displacement above the level, consolidation, we create our setup, the final SMT, break, and then continue down to the level, right? So obviously, you know, when you do take this trade, you'd be scaling out right here, you'd be scaling out right there, taking profits along the way. Just always keep that in mind. So I'm going to hop on the higher time frame and show you exactly how we got this set up. Now, first off, I want to point out 21,392 and 21,232 are exact levels that we had charted this week. We actually had some beautiful moves off that we did capitalize on. We had a nice profitable trade off it. So, you know, we have our key level. Now, where's our external range liquidity taken? Well, that's right here. Okay, so that's a high from yesterday, and we take that with this push to the upside. We also take some external range liquidity and quite a bit of it on ES. So again, liquidity can be taken on ES also. We had more liquidity taken on ES, but there was definitely some external range liquidity taken between both the correlated assets. So after that, we have our high time frame imbalance. Now I'm going to jump onto ES and show you where the high time frame imbalance was. So the high time frame imbalance was this daily, and you can see we tapped into it perfectly. So when I see that, that's my high time frame imbalance. We don't have any high time frame imbalances around that level on NQ, so I'm going to use this daily on ES as the driver. And you can clearly see we tap into it and then deliver right to the downside, right? So, you know, the daily fair value gap was my high time frame imbalance to trade NQ. Just keep that in mind. Again, you know, it's nice if we see it on NQ, but they're correlating assets, so we can see it on ES and use that as our high time frame imbalance. So we'll jump back onto NQ. This is the hourly time frame. You can see we have a beautiful SMT right here. So ES took this high, but NQ didn't, right? So that creates our basically our external SMT, the higher time frame SMT. So again, liquidity is taken. After liquidity is taken, we have our high time frame imbalance. We get that on ES. We tap into the daily fair value gap. After that, we create SMT, right here. ES takes this high, NQ doesn't. So after I see all that, I'm looking for an internal SMT and displacement through the level to take the trade. So we'll jump back down on the 2-minute time frame here. And I like to take these trades on the 2-minute. You know, it just clears up price action a little. I just trade the 2-minute. Now I do have the 1-minute on my order execution screen, but my main technicals come from the 2-minute. And again, you can see we come up, right? Push up. This candle here creates the SMT, right? The higher time frame SMT. We come up, push up, and sweep that liquidity. One more test, create the smaller SMT, and then we get displacement through the level to the downside. So beautiful setup here. So this is our smaller time frame, little SMT that I'm talking about right here. So we come up, ES sweeps this high, NQ doesn't. And look at what happens after that internal SMT. Displacement to the downside. Instantly displacement to the downside. So now where am I going to enter on this? Well, you guys know my 2-minute sell setup. When that displacement candle happens, the next candle, when we cross the body close of that displacement candle, or I call it a signal bar, this is the entry bar, that's where I enter. And then you can see we have a beautiful retest of the level and holds this fair value gap right there too, right? So just nice structure. We enter the trade, our first target right here, second target right here, and then obviously final target, which is our perfect level to level move. So again, the entry is on the 2-minute sell setup. You could also wait and see if we retest, right? You could actually just, you could be a little patient on this and see if we retest that level and see if we hold a fair value gap. But a lot of the times, once we get this displacement down and this 2-minute sell setup, we'll just dump. So that's why I take the 2-minute entry. You know, I might leverage small, and then when I see this happen here, when I see us tap this and then continue, I'll add more. But, you know, beautiful setup. And we actually have part of the level model here too. If you take it from the swing high to the swing low and you take this fair value gap, look at that. So this was like, man, so many confirmations to take this trade. So, you know, this is my A+ entry model. Every time I see it, I trade it. But that's the trade right there. So I really want you to study this. This trade happened Wednesday this week. I honestly love this entry model. It's such a high probability setup. When we can have all these technicals line up with a level, you can clearly see, you know, we get beautiful price delivery. So study it, throw it in your playbook. Make sure that when you see it happen, you're ready to execute. This is definitely going to increase your win rate. And, you know, once you have this setup locked in, you'll be trading it whenever you see it. I guarantee you. Again, if there's any questions, you guys know I'm always available in the Discord. Reach out. But yeah, that's all I got. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. And let's continue to crush it this week.